Dumelang, welcome to Face the Nation. My name is Clement Manyatela. Great to have you with us here on SABC News. On the show tonight, who else is the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi going to name at the Madlanga Commission? On day 2 of his testimony at the inquiry, he implicated certain members of parliament, some business people, and even law enforcement officials. One of the MPs is implicated today, Fadiel Adams, speaks to us. Also on the show, what is the Human Settlement Department's plans to deal with the escalating rate of illegal informal settlements? The Minister of Human Settlements, Thembi Simelane, joins us tonight. Plus, why did the Patriotic Alliance name its Deputy President, Kenny Kunene, as the party's Johannesburg mayoral candidate despite his suspension? And how far is the party's internal investigation into Kunene? We speak to the Patriotic Alliance. And then later, we're going to be asking why the Mogalakwena municipality in Limpopo awarded a 167 million rand tender to a company that didn't qualify for that tender. The SIU has revealed that the municipality was lied to by the Easyway Tarmac Pave and Project CC company. The company will now have to pay 68.9 million rand and fraudulently after the contract was declared unconstitutional, unlawful and invalid. The mayor of that municipality, Ngwaku Tulani Tau Yatswala, speaks to us. But first, my comment. So, the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has wrapped up day 2 of his testimony at the Madlanga Commission. From members of parliament to business people and even law enforcement officials, General Mkhwanazi has implicated several individuals during testimony today. Mkhwanazi identified people he believes acted as obstacles to the work of Gauteng's counterintelligence operations unit. That unit has been working closely with the political killing task team on a number of high-profile murder cases in the province. The general has named members of parliament, Fadiel Adams and Diane Collar Barnard, claiming they gained access to classified crime intelligence information and made them public.
Ms. Collar Barnard is a veteran in Parliament as a lawmaker who ought to understand what belongs where in Parliament. And I can confirm, Commissioners, that she is appointed by her own political party, which is a Democratic Alliance, to be a member of both the Portfolio Committee on Police that deals with the open account, as well as being a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, which deals with the covert farms. So she's better positioned to call the department to come and account at the right platform. But we have seen, and I said when I started, I'm going to throw one example of each. I'm not going to go into details with many. There are many examples. But she's one of the leaders in our legislature that is participating in both breaking the law as well as fueling these malicious attacks that are happening within crime intelligence and ultimately directed at Khumalo as the head of that intelligence.
Now, General Mkhwanazi had this to say about the arrested Vusmuzi Ket Matlala's seemingly close relationship with top cops.
Mr. Matlala, Ket Matlala, Vusmus Ket Matlala, is one fellow that has been enjoying too much privilege from the law enforcement. And the typical example is that one of, or at least few of his vehicles, not talking about the number, but it's a couple of them, 4 or 5, the number will be confirmed through the report. His personal vehicles were registered by the Deputy Chief of Police at Guruleni, that is Major General Mkhwanazi. he facilitated the registration of these Mr. Nhlanhla's vehicles under the municipality as if they are municipality official vehicles, utilizing the funds from the municipality of Ekurhuleni. So the vehicles then belong on record, when you test them on the system, they reflect as if they belong to municipality. It did not end there, commissioners. He took these vehicles and he caused the municipality to take the blue lights that belongs to municipality. The blue lights are supposed to be for the law enforcement vehicles within municipality, and he fitted those blue lights in these vehicles. And these vehicles were then given to Mr. Ket Nhlanhla.
He's also identified a Johannesburg Metro Police Department officer alleging that Johannes Mokhatle had links to businessman turned murder accused Katiso Molefe. Mokhatle is accused of assisting Molefe by running a number of plate check and confirming the ownership of a police vehicle that was staking out Molefe's home the day before, in fact, his arrest. Mkhwanazi also named Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim, alleging that the underworld figure Vusmuzi Ket Nhlanhla had asked him to intervene with Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. According to their testimony, Karim was requested to help persuade the minister not to cancel Matala's 360 million rand police contract. This is what Mkhwanazi had to say about the interference by business people and politicians.
There is a lot of interference with these investigations in different forms, as is listed there, in order to try and close these cases by business people and politicians. And by and large, because they are political cases, the people on the higher level of the syndicates that are involved are the ones that are behind the closures of dockets. So they influence the docket. It still remains the case to date.
So the question we're asking you tonight is, are you surprised at all at the names that General Mkhwanazi is dropping at the Nhlanhla Commission? How concerned are you also about members of parliament and business people being implicated in the KZN, by the KZN Police Commissioner in that testimony? Let us know your thoughts. Send us a WhatsApp voice note right now on 078-459-1897. Remember to tell us your name and your surname and where you're sending the voice note from. Alternatively, you can send us an X on @FaceTheNation SABC. Now, Fadiel Adams is one of the two members of parliament who have been accused by the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, of politically interfering in the work of the KZN SAPS political killings task team. He's also the leader of the National Coloured Congress and joins us now via video link. Thank you so much for making time for us, Fadiel. Good evening.
Very good evening to you and the listeners.
Were you in possession of classified information? Because it seems like that is what General Mkhwanazi was more concerned about from his testimony today.
You know, Mkhwanazi is a man, he's a walking contradiction. I was in possession of information that was slid under my office door or found its way into my office. The information appeared to be authentic, but I could not confirm this. The best people to confirm this would be the South African Police Services. I took the information to the nearest police station and I said to them, you might want to have a look at this, and I opened the case. That's the whole story.
And what?
It's a concern.
Sorry.
It's a concern. Look, the case is sub judice, so I can only say so much, but it's a real concern to me that a police general is more concerned about where the information comes from than the actual alleged crimes in that docket. Mm-hmm. That is the real concern to me. That the same general wants to minimize the effect of alleged fraud and corruption amounting to hundreds of millions of rands, possibly, and he wants to diminish this to an HR concern. This is not an HR concern. The question I have, and I think the general must answer this, is that this is not in his jurisdiction. These alleged crimes happened in Pretoria. He's the provincial commissioner for KZN. Why is he so invested in this? Because I don't hear the provincial commissioner for Gauteng saying a word. It really boggles the mind.
So this information that came through these classified documents, you said they were slipped under your office. Are you saying that you're not able to tell us what that involved, the case that you had opened?
I would like that to come out in court, but I can tell you that it's very concerning. I can tell you that the amounts involved are huge. And I can tell you that I do believe that this whole probably goes a whole lot deeper than what it appears.
Did you know?
What I can tell you.
Yes, go ahead.
You go first. No, you go first.
Did you know at the time when you received that document that it was classified?
There was a number of the pages that were marked top secret. It was there. But now you must understand, I've been a member of parliament for a whole 3 months. I'm finding my way around these buildings, finding out who's who, which commission deals with what, who do you go to report, this, that, the other. Because I also didn't know who to trust. So I decided to take it to the authorities. Now, I can't understand why a general has a problem with me taking information to his own institution until I think about it. Because the general claims to have information that criminalizes a full minister and a full deputy national commissioner, but he didn't take it to the police station. He called a press conference. This is the same general that's demanding accountability and due process from me as an MP, but as a general, what does he do with information?
Yeah.
He sensationalizes it.
Well, to be fair, Fadiel, from what he told the commission is that he tried to speak to the National Police Commissioner, he tried to get the attention of the President, he tried to speak to the Police Minister, he went to the Portfolio Committee on Police. All those attempts had failed, and he says that's why he ended up deciding to go and hold that press briefing. But I don't want us to focus much on that because he's answering questions on that.
Just before you skip that point,
yeah?
He can speak to whoever he wants to. What does the Corruption Act say? It says that if you are aware of criminality, it is your responsibility to lay a charge.
Yeah, and of course...
That's what he should have done.
Yeah, well, as a member of parliament, when you get information that's top secret, that is classified, one of the things you would do is to go to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. Why didn't you consider that option?
It didn't exist at the time, sir. That committee was only formulated a few weeks afterwards. Remember, committees were still being set up at the time.
When exactly did this information get to you?
I didn't write down the date, but I think it was early in September. But let me take it a step further.
So it was early in September. What year was it? What year was it?
Last year.
It
was 2024.
So in September last year, we didn't have committees in Parliament that had formed?
No. There were committees formed, but we didn't know who was who in which particular zoo.
But you just said that you didn't go to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence because the committees had not been formed. You are saying that this information got to you in September last year.
Will you allow me to clarify?
Yes, please.
I was still finding my feet at that point. I'd just been called to the Committee for State Security. I've been brand new on the Committee for Police. I didn't even know what the JSCI was doing at the time. I took it to the police station, where I'm assuming the information in here will be treated as top secret. I did not take it to the police. I did not post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think I did the responsible thing. But let me tell you this, sir. In a country where crime and corruption is rampant, and this criminality is being kept as top secret, left, right, and center, think pala. How much more of an appetite for this do South Africans have? Do we not have the right to have these things investigated? Do we not have the right to have the corruption aired, the thieves locked up? Is that not what we're about? Or am I being asked to play a part of a system that almost endorses criminality and corruption because I won't? I refuse to.
Here's the challenge. Here's the challenge that the KZN Police Commissioner mentioned earlier today. He says, after you laid these criminal cases, there are investigators that try to get a hold of you to try and get more information, and you didn't respond to their requests. Did you really get the investigators contact you and you ignored them?
So I'd been contacted by the IDAC. I'd given the file to the IDAC. I was then contacted by the Inspector General for Intelligence. I gave him what I had left. And now I'm getting calls from people claiming to be policemen, wanting to meet wherever. And I said, you know what, where are you from, Johannesburg? I'll come to Johannesburg. I'm more than happy to meet you at your office. I never got a return call. Mkhwanazi must not be selective in how he presents information, sir. Here's my thing. I've already given my disclosure to the IDAC. Do I need a parallel investigation? I think not. I don't know who to trust right here. This is the sad part.
Mm-hmm. So you do confirm, though, that investigators did call you to try and get more information. You just didn't trust them because you were not sure if they were legitimate.
I'd already handed over my file to the IDAC. I didn't want to meet another investigator because I didn't know who was covering for what. I didn't know who was trying to have a look at the information before the time. Please understand, this is very sensitive. And I was satisfied that I had already spoken to investigators. Why do I need to speak to another lot of investigators? Let me take it a step further for you. When I laid the charge at Grand Central Police Station, the docket was collected by the Office of the Provincial Commissioner a year ago. I've not been contacted by that office yet. Do you understand why the alarm bells were going off left, right, and center?
So the charges that you have laid, are they more to do with the vetting processes, or are there issues around the abuse? Because General Mkhwanazi doesn't seem to have an issue with mentioning what you went to the police station for. So which is why I'm constantly asking, why are you uncomfortable to mention that when it's already in the public domain? Was the issue here the vetting processes, or was it an issue of the secret fund in the SAPS being abused?
One of the issues was the vetting processes and the appointment of that young brigadier from BMW, who we were told in the portfolio committee by senior policemen was above board, which I didn't believe. Secondly, it was the abuse of the COVID police fund.
Okay, so the issue... Okay, got you. The issue of vetting, which is one of them, did you raise that with the State Security Agency?
I raised it in the police portfolio. I also questioned the vetting of the very same policemen that are now on trial, that whether or not they had security clearances. I was told it was all above board. Apparently that was a lie as well. I also questioned the security clearance of many of our provincial commissioners. These are all the things that must come out. I, though, do take umbrage at General Mkhwanazi and the manner that he's handling this thing. Because I tell you again, this was a Gauteng issue, seeing that he's all territorial, because I heard him talk about dockets from the Eastern Cape earlier and who the dockets belong to. Why is he so invested in this case? Why is nobody going to ask that question?
Well, part of what he said before is that the political killing starts team were assisting some police officers in Gauteng, and that's when there were issues now that were raised, even by these business people that are seemingly connected to some politicians. And that's where his concern arises from, that when help was sought from the political killing stars team, and there were some syndicates that were being exposed here in Gauteng, that's when you started seeing the political interference.
Well, I can't speak for any other politician, but let me challenge Mkhwanazi to mention my name in the same breath as these cartels or businessmen, because I certainly never met any one of them, nor do I want to. Fact of the matter is, as a portfolio, we've debated the use of the political killing stars team. My feedback on that is that it's a total waste of money. On the Cape Flats, we're losing 10 boys a day, 3,000 a year. I feel that money can be directed here. The political killing stars team is costing us untold millions. These people are living it up 4 and 5 star. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the costs for these 132 dockets. I say it slowly, 132 dockets. Do you understand that we'll probably lose almost 100 kids over the weekend here in Cape Town? Yeah, we are saying spend the money better. SABC is under financial strain. Why is Mkhwanazi fighting that?
Well,
And then
here's an
look at the issue.
Here's an opportunity for you as well, Mr. Fadiel, to somehow advocate for a commission of inquiry or even for a task team of sorts that can look into those crimes that you're speaking about. Remember, it wasn't, to be fair on Mkhwanazi, it wasn't him who decided that there must be a political killings task team. It was a whole process. There was a big concern around how many politicians were dying and even some municipal managers in KwaZulu-Natal. It was the president who said, let there be a commission of inquiry, after which there was a recommendation for there to be a political killings task team. And General Mkhwanazi and even Fani Masamula, the National Police Commissioner, seemed to be happy with the successes of the political killings task team.
So we should ask ourselves, how many years ago was that? And are the killings still happening at the same rate? And I certainly don't believe that they are. But here's what I want to tell you. A young man, I can't understand why I can't remember his name right now, an ANC councillor in KZN who could not be corrupted. He was killed. He was killed with an AK-47, bought with the same money that is found in the COVID slush fund. Why is that not being discussed here? Why is Mkhwanazi not talking about that? He was a fine young man. He could not be corrupted and he was killed. Now his killer sits in Westville prison. He's spoken to me. He mentions the municipal manager from a certain municipality. He mentions a certain mayor. He was used. He says that the police, KZN police, drove him from the murder scene. He's willing to come and testify before this commission.
Have you shared this information with the police?
Yes, I've shared it in portfolio. Now hear this.
With the police? Have you
in Westville prison tonight.
Have you shared it with the police?
We are working on getting that thing out. Now, I want you to hear this because I'm telling this to the nation.
Hold on, but I think that's very important as well. I'll give you the opportunity now. You had information. One second, I'll give you a chance. You had information, you say, slipped under your door. You decided to go and approach the police station to open charges. Now, here is information where there is some level of criminality, and you choose this one doesn't deserve to be taken to the police station, but deserves to be dealt with in Parliament. Where's the consistency there?
Do you not feel that we should vet this information, that we should interview this man, that we should get a written statement, that we should get a commissioner of oaths out there? Do you understand that all of this takes time?
I understand, but also I would argue that even with the information you received, which was top secret, that you could have gotten advice from even anybody in Parliament to ask, how do I deal with sensitive information like this? But you felt strongly that this is information that needs to be taken immediately to the police. And yet with this case, you thought Parliament is the first option.
So this information has all been written down, typed out with totals, names and dates. It was very simple. There was nothing for me to vet. That was now a job for SABC.
And yet it wasn't.
This young man that I'm speaking to, can I finish?
Yes,
this young man that I'm speaking to inside of prison, I need to make sure that his story checks out. I don't want to be wasting anyone's time. Nobody's given me a dossier to say this, that, and the other. Here's the ID number, here's the serial number of the gun, here's the policeman that drove him away. I don't have any of that, sir. Or would you like me to lay a charge on conjecture?
Well, I think
but just allow me to finish.
Yeah.
Allow me to finish.
Go ahead.
So in prison tonight sits Sergeant Bongi Nkosi Dlamini, arrested by the political killings task team, charged by that same task team, found guilty by a magistrate interestingly called Kumalo. He was sentenced using case law that doesn't exist. Listen to what I'm telling you. Case law that doesn't exist. Do you know who he says is behind this, all of this? He says it's the same General Kumalo that now stands before the court. This is not me saying it. This is an upstanding policeman, a man no one has a bad thing to say about. And he has been targeted by the political killings task team that General Mkhwanazi is advocating for. Now, I cannot stand for that.
And speaking of Dumisani Kumalo, this information that got through your office in Parliament, did it also involve him?
Yes.
And now there's somebody that you're speaking to who is implicating him in another wrongdoing on top of the top secret documentation that you took to the police.
I've never met that man before I saw him in prison, sir. That man reached out to me because he saw what we were busy with.
Okay.
I went out, I sat down, I listened. And we are still investigating. But what I'm saying to you is that there are more and more really, really weird things coming out the further you dig. But here is the connection that the country seems to be missing. Who was the head of the political killing stars team not too long ago?
Khumalo.
Head of intelligence, Sani Khumalo. If you start connecting these dots, I'm not making any accusations, but start connecting these dots and see which way it goes. It becomes really, really, really fishy.
Please help us connect the dots. What do you think is the involvement of Khumalo here?
Let me tell you this. I expect to be called to court to come and testify in this case, as I am the complainant. I told you at the beginning of the interview that this thing is sub judice, and therefore I will choose my words very carefully for now. But let me tell you something. I don't think this country is ready for what's about to come out here. The South African police services is rotten from the head all the way down. We are appointing 29-year-old women as brigadiers. All her police experience was working for BMW. But we've got people stuck in their ranks for 30 years, honest policemen. We are buying cars, we are buying hotels, things we shouldn't be buying with taxpayers' money. And this is what I'm fighting. And you know what? In return, I'm getting, let's just say I'm taking flack from a police general who should know better.
Well, Fadiel Adams, thank you so much for speaking to us. I really appreciate your time. And I hope you will have an opportunity as well to appear before the Nhlanhla Commission so that you can put your story and that evidence up, that top secret classified documents, hopefully can make its way to the Commission and there will be a way that it can be dealt with in a sensitive manner. That's Fadiel Adams, one of the members of Parliament that were implicated by the KZN Police Commissioner earlier today at the Nhlanhla Commission. We'll be back after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. So there are concerns that have been raised around the mushrooming of illegal informal settlements around the country. In fact, the Gauteng Premier had indicated that as the Gauteng Province, they will be targeting a number of informal settlements that they believe, in fact, are overpopulated by illegal foreigners. So what is the plan from the national government to deal with this? Thembi Simelane is the Minister of Human Settlements joining us via video link. Minister, thank you for making time for us. Good evening.
Good evening, Clement, and good evening to our viewers.
So what are you doing as the national department around these concerns that have been raised even by the Gauteng Premier, Panyaza Lesufi? They seem to be concerned about these informal settlements.
It's a very concerning sight. Remember, Clement, we are a concurrent function, which means it's mainly the responsibility of the province and the municipality to make sure that they are safeguarding their land. But we're not dumping the problem and the challenge to them. Currently, we have got over 4,075 informal settlements. And this is a worrying trend. And we've done assisting both provinces and municipalities through our agency, HDA, with the assessment. One, so that we could know. Two, so that in the main, we could try and gauge who exactly is a resident. Hence, the Premier can now confidently say, we know that the users or the people who are staying in the informal settlement are mostly without legal papers to be in the country, including the hijacked buildings. Now we're having two types of programs. One, the recap and to reclaim both in Tshwane and in the city of Johannesburg, all the buildings that have been taken over. You might have seen pushback because they are also illegally occupied. But we are making amends on that, and we've been able to claim back with an intention of repurposing them for our social housing and allocation, particularly to young people who now apply for RTPs, and they are looking for work and they are working around the CBD, but they are unable to be accommodated. And then secondly, we're on the land reclaim process, and not the land reclaim as you will talk about the land, but I'm talking about the occupied land, which is illegally. There are two forms which are a challenge. One is government land, which mostly belongs to municipalities. Two, it's communal land, which is usually belonging to our traditional leaders, or it's under a claim. And three, obviously, it's private-owned land. Private land, even when government try to make attempts to buy the land before it could be occupied, you find resistance. And when the land is occupied, the owners just neglect it and walk away. But we have made strides now in terms of making sure that we get the land back, including assisting municipalities and provinces with demolition. And we would want to say to our people, they must not continue building, because the demolition process will also come with great deal of pain that they will have to live with.
So part of what some even provincial governments have said, or municipalities, is that it's very difficult sometimes to even evict the people who have occupied land illegally because of issues around legislation. Has that really proven to be a bone of contention and frustration for you as government? And if that's the case, why are you not introducing legislation that would, yes, not make it easy for government to violate people's human rights and just, push them out without following the right process, but legislation that would allow you to reclaim those buildings, some, in fact, many of which are actually not even safe and worth being inhabited?
Well, you may be aware that we have introduced what we call the PI Act. It comes out of a court judgment, actually, which is a piece of legislation which deals with prevention of illegal evictions. That is meant to regulate us as government and even private property owners. You will recall that case in the High Court by the people of the Western Cape, in the city of Cape Town in particular, who are being evicted by a business owner who owned a piece of land. It informed that. And that's just but one part, so that nobody abuses and use the power in a way that does not the citizens are not protected. But we're also looking, as part of it, into the 48-hour clause, which seem to have come out of our court outcomes as well, that if you have resided in a place for more than 48 hours, if I am to remove you as a mayor or as Premier Panyaza, I need to give you alternative land. Now, if you go to a city of eThekwini, for example, out of the 4,075 informal settlements, they account for about, in KwaZulu-Natal, around 600 of them, of which 4 or so 100 informal settlements are in the city of eThekwini. In Tshwane is around 500 informal settlements across and widespread. So if you were to take every South African who stays in that informal settlement and relocate him or her somewhere, it does show and indicate that we need more proper planning, and our plan needs to go towards densification, because the availability of land is not, and that is why now, which I think is the era of yesteryears of government. If you look around what we are building in Gauteng, eThekwini and other metros, is no longer single stand RDPs, as we call them, but it's duplexes, precisely because of the land availability problem. So we've got quite a number of variations of policies and regulations that are now assisting the metros, but we also partake and assist them beyond assessment, even in terms of evictions. The Department of Public Works has already handed over to our custody around 2,400 hectares countrywide to the Department of Human Settlement for proper use. And our plan is what we call a project of unblocking, to even avoid the fires and the killing and the death of people, to utilize that as part of our duplex building system, utilizing government available land. So there are various programs that we are on to assist provinces.
What's the plan once you start with this project of targeting some of these informal settlements? The Gauteng Premier mentioned, I think, 200 of them that have been identified. Do you have alternative accommodation? And what do you do then with people who are found there who are illegal immigrants?
We are hoping, we are having a joint team with the province of Gauteng, led by MEC Tasnim. We are hoping that in the process of, as I had said, HDA assessment and verification of who's where and what, that goes hand in hand. If you will know, there's that land that Gauteng has made available, and it can be able to accommodate ultimately, if all the faces are down, around to 20,000 people or families that will be in the Lufering area. The reason why we're putting services now is that we relocate from where you are in an informal settlement, we update you in a system, we're launching our human settlement digital system where you will know whether you have got a RTP, when is your RTP, when did you apply, to also deal with transparency issues, because our beneficiary system, everybody has been complaining about it. And put those people into the system and move them into identified area. We've done the same of about 1,200, close to 2,000 sites in Konibi, in eThekwini, with the relocations, including the disaster affected people and those who are in formal settlements that are not needed. In eThekwini, yes, we still have a challenge. The availability of land is much of an issue there, but we're trying to forge ahead and deal with that. We've done a portion of those in Msunduzi, your Pietermaritzburg area, to ensure that we deal with because it's the second highest in KZN that has got informal settlements. And we are moving, cascading into all cities to be able to do that. So the plan is identification of land, verification that has already happened, move the legitimate. The tough question is, what do we do with the illegal immigrants? Because they are there.
And what's
our
the answer
plan
to that?
It's jointly with the Department of Home Affairs, and they're trying in cleansing their system as well and ensuring that they are able to, which means there will have to be massive deportations. There will have to be a lot of, there will be a lot of pushbacks, obviously, and fights in relation to our officials who will be stopped into exercising what we need to do to correct the system. All what the Premier was saying in Gauteng was that is not a one single-handed approach that needs only the MEC. We've got Home Affairs on board. We've got the legal teams that are dealing with the legislation. We've got additional that is supposed to help us from the ISUP grant, which is our informal settlement upgrading grant, to assist particularly metros in coming out of this problem. We're not claiming it will be easy, but we're trying to get our ducks in a row to deal with all the challenges that we might face.
Thembi Simelane, Minister of Human Settlements, thank you for joining us on Face the Nation this evening. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break. So the Patriotic Alliance has named its Deputy President, Kenny Kunene, as the party's mayoral candidate for Johannesburg. Kunene is currently on suspension pending an investigation over his suspected ties with the alleged murder mastermind, as alleged by the police, Katiso Molefe. Kunene was found at Molefe's Sandton home during his arrest for the murder of Oba Sifoka, popularly known as DJ Somebody. PA leader Gauteng Mackenzie says the party's investigation into Kunene are at an advanced stage. Let's speak to Steve Motale now, who is the Patriotic Alliance's national spokesperson. Mr. Motale, thank you for making time for us. Good evening.
Good evening, Clement, and good evening to viewers.
How far is that investigation against Kenny Kunene?
We are very, very excited, Clement. The investigation has gone according to plan and is on schedule. The investigators have interviewed everybody that they had to interview. We are waiting for the outcome of the investigation in the next few days.
Oh, so the outcome of that investigation will be announced before the end of this month then?
I wouldn't say before the end of the month, but we have been assured by the investigators that the matter of days.
Okay. So didn't you then preempt this investigation by announcing Kenny Kunene as a mayoral candidate? Why didn't you wait for the investigation to be done so you know where he stands?
The announcement of Kenny Kunene as the mayoral candidate for the city of Johannesburg for the PA is not something new. Mr. Kunene has been our mayoral candidate for months now. What our President Gauteng Mkhwanazi was announcing on Monday was just confirmation that he remains the mayoral candidate. And based on our interaction with Mr. Kunene, when we announced his leave of absence, Gauteng Mkhwanazi made it quite clear that we believe in his innocence. We believe in his story. So we are quite hopeful and confident that he will be cleared. So there's no controversy on it.
But isn't the safest thing here to say there's an investigation, let's wait to hear what it says, and then we're going to confirm you as our mayoral candidates as soon as that investigation is done? And here's why I'm asking that question. It was you as the organization that decided, right, or he decided to resign from, was it party activities? So if really this doesn't matter, why was he resigning then from party activities? Because if that's the case, then anything should be on hold until there's an outcome of an investigation.
Look, Clement, the people of South Africa have really had enough of crime and corruption. And for one of us to be associated with the underworld characters, it didn't augur well for the party, neither did it augur well for us. What we did, and may I highlight that we've got our own in-house disciplinary committee. But in the interest of transparency, we decided to outsource this investigation so that it gives Mr. Kunene himself the chance to clear himself, and of course for him, when he's cleared, to come back without any dark cloud hanging over his head. So we are quite confident that he will be cleared.
Okay. Have you announced the company that has been investigating him? Are you able to share with us how transparent that process has been?
Yeah, it's quite a reputable law firm, Liebdecker Hofmeier. So yeah, they have interviewed quite a number of people, including Mr. Kunene himself. Mm-hmm. They have interviewed me and many other witnesses. So yeah, we haven't been getting daily reports, but we have been given assurance by the law firm itself that they are wrapping up their work. And
has the journalist as well in question been interviewed? The one who was found with Mr. Kunene?
Yes, Bianca Binase was interviewed as well, and I was interviewed as the editor-in-chief. One of the questions that I had to face was, as the most senior journalist in the publication, why couldn't I do the interview on that particular day? Of course, I made my statement to the investigators.
Are you able to share with us why, as the editor, you were not with this journalist and he was with Kenny Kunene?
It will come out in the investigation when it's announced. Just wait. It's just a matter.
Okay. Just before we wrap up then, the decision for him to be the mayoral candidate in Johannesburg, how confident are you, given, of course, some of the strong, quote-unquote, politicians that seem to be eyeing that job? You know, with the Democratic Alliance, they are probably preparing to announce Helen Zille as the mayoral candidate. The ANC also looking. So political parties would really be putting up their strong candidates. How confident are you that this is the man who, in fact, can go head-to-head with some of these other strong politicians?
Clement, we are quite confident in the ability, the capability of him. Look, his track record as the MMC for roads and transport speaks for itself. Apart from that, you might recall that twice he was appointed acting mayor. The first time he was appointed acting mayor for 2 days, and in those 2 days as acting mayor, he showed the political will that no individual or no mayor ever has shown. He went straight, he targeted the biggest problem in the city of Joburg, which is hijacked buildings. And in June this year, he was again appointed acting mayor for a period of 7 days. And during those 7 days, he again targeted the building hijackers, and he disconnected council facilities from all those hijacked buildings, which is something that no any other mayor has ever done. So we are quite confident that with his track record, we can turn our fortunes around in the city of Joburg.
Steve Motale, thank you so much for making time for us. He's the Patriotic Alliance's national spokesperson. Here's a reminder of the question we've been asking you tonight on Face the Nation. How concerned are you about the members of parliament and business people being implicated at the Madlanga Commission by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi? On Twitter, Bono says, we're obviously concerned that a number of members of parliament are implicated by General Mkhwanazi. We rely on them to hold the executive accountable and deal with corruption. When they are implicated in these wrongdoings, it's really concerning. Thomas says, this is very concerning as citizens of this country, lawmakers and those we look up to be the ones ensuring that crime is minimized are the ones implicated. This is just the start. Others are in court against this commission. Uzanemvula says, we're behind Mkhwanazi. We fought this battle via social media for years. The people's media has captured the current government and its GNU partners are rotten to the core. South Africans are ready to fight, to be jailed or even die from Mzansi foreigners, and those selling us to the highest bidder must account. Okay, so some of the WhatsApp voice notes have been coming through responding to what General Mkhwanazi had to say today. So let's take a listen to what some of you have said on the voice note line.
Sam Alokotri Dumela. It is really concerning to learn that the people who must play a role in protecting the country are the ones who are implicated in criminality. This means that we are not safe in our country. And the best paid people are the ones who are betraying us in pursuit of self-enrichment. Bye-bye.
Good evening, Clement. It's Hector here from Granfisher. You know, I'm watching this allegation by Mkhwanazi open-mindedly. I'm still saying to myself, it's Mkhwanazi's story. We're going to hear other stories or the defenders, the accused story, then the truth will come out. I'm not judging anyone. I'm still listening to Mkhwanazi to get the taste of what is going on. Thank you.
Yeah, and of course, all the people that he has implicated when phase 2 of the commission begins will have an opportunity to rebut and also to defend themselves. Let's move to this story now. The special tribunal has ordered a construction company to repay nearly 69 million rand plus interest, declaring its 167 million contract with the Mogalakwena local municipality unconstitutional, unlawful and invalid. The SIU found that the Easy Way, Tarmac, Pave and projects fraudulently misrepresented its grades and projects, duping the municipality into awarding this tender back in 2018 for borehole development, reservoirs and bulk gravity pipeline. Ngwaku Tau Iatswala is the mayor of the Mogalakwena local municipality and joins us now. Mayor, thank you so much for making time. Good evening.
Good evening, Clement, and good evening to the viewers.
The SIU says your municipality was lied to by this company, and the projects that the company, of course, tendered for 167 million rand worth of that contract. What happened? How did your municipality get lied to by this company?
Clement, let me start by giving you the background of exactly where this started. When we start as the new council in 2021, our municipality was under Section 1391B. In fact, it was under administration to an extent where the president made a proclamation for the special investigating unit to come and make some investigations in Mogalakwena local municipality, of which the SIU was investigating about 3 issues, of which amongst those 3 issues, one of the issues was the issue of corruption of or irregularities in terms of the awarding of tenders, of which this company called Easyway is one of the company that was listed or is implicated in the companies that were investigated by the Special Investigating Unit, of which, as the municipality, we welcome the ruling of the Tribunal Court of the SIU regarding that company, necessarily because we are speaking about the money that was supposed to give the services to the people of Bagamberg area. But also to indicate that that company indeed lied to the municipality in terms of the CBID, in terms of the experience and etc. And the company was awarded a tender, a very big tender that was supposed to give about 29 villages water. Around
what happened to the people? Sorry,
Mayor.
Mayor, in the interest of time, what happened to the people that are implicated in this? Because this is not just a company that's lied to the municipality. They're clearly incompetent officials in your municipality that failed to do their basic work to verify the information that this company had provided to them.
During the investigations of SIU, they were making a lot of referrals to the municipality, of which, as the municipality, we implemented consequence management to the officials who were implicated in those tender irregularities, of which, if I can tell you today, all the people that were implicated on the SIU report, none of them is still working in the municipality. Some of them have resigned, some of them were dismissed at work, and some of them were even arrested.
Okay,
but
have you opened a criminal case against them? Because some of them, of course, will resign. Some of them will, upon dismissal, go look for jobs elsewhere. But as a municipality, I would imagine if there are people that actually fail to do their basic work, and as a result, there's over 60 million rand that was paid by the municipality, surely there are grounds there to hold them accountable beyond just what you do as an organization, as a municipality.
Remember, when the SIU is making investigations, obviously they are making recommendations to the municipality to take actions about those that are implicated, and some of the cases or the issues, the SIU is the one that is opening cases against those people. But at our level as the municipality, we implemented the recommendations of the SIU to the latter by implementing consequence management, by suspending them, and ultimately some of them are dismissed, some of them are fired, and some of them were arrested, and the SIU is the one that was responsible for opening those cases.
What's happened to the communities that were waiting for services that were meant to be delivered post the completion of this project?
The project was abandoned, Clement, but as the municipality, in the best interest of making sure that we must give our communities the services that they deserve, we sat down with the SIU to request them to resuscitate that particular project, of which the company was terminated. And as the municipality, we resuscitated that particular project. We appointed another company that is saving capacity. And I can tell you today, as we are speaking here, the project is at about more than 98%, of which we are very much positive and optimistic that before the end of this year, the people of that area will be drinking water. And the project is a very big project that is giving about 29 villages water.
All right, Ngwaku Tauya Tswala, thank you so much for speaking to us. He is the mayor of the Mogalakwena local municipality in Limpopo. Thanks to you for watching the Thursday edition of Face the Nation. We'll be back with you on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Have a good evening. Cheers.